All right, let's do this.
Cool. Hello and welcome to the Worst Movie Ever Made, an experimental movie podcast designed with one thing in mind, to find the worst movie ever made. I'm your host, Chris Ackman. I'm joined by my co-hosts and fellow mad scientists, Rob Scucci and Bob Hassick. Hey guys, how are you and why are we doing this?
I am great because here's the thing. I turn everything in my life that I enjoy into work, and I've wanted to watch this movie for fucking ever, but haven't had an excuse to do so. So as luck may have it, I threw it on the poll. It won. I loved it. Everybody else hated it. This is the best day of my life. And I think it's your turn to describe the movie, right, Chris? And then
It
Bob,
is.
how are you?
It is. Oh, I'm okay. Students started back to school, and I teach students in a school, and nothing is working in my lab as usual. So I currently hate my job. Chris?
I am doing well, thanks for asking. Let me explain this movie for you. It's Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. There you go. Abraham Lincoln was, one of our illustrious presidents, known the world over. Turns out what you didn't know about him is that he was also a vampire hunter. He used crazy CGI to defeat really dumb-looking vampires, and he did it while running the country. You didn't know it. You know it now. Here comes the movie. We'll throw it first to YouTube to find out what other patrons of this movie thought.
I just find it funny they call him Honest Abe, but he kept this a secret from us for so long. Anywho.
Sitting on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. Sounds awfully familiar.
It's good, though.
No, it isn't. YouTube comments. Get ready. I honestly think this one is a very good movie. Parentheses. I'm only saying it because I enjoyed it and became one of my personal favorite movies to watch. End parentheses. It actually is very, very interesting to see this and have a good plot. Parentheses. Again, I love the movie. It's simply my opinion. End parentheses. And besides, the great cinematography, it's very underrated and taken little seriously because of the idea of the President Abraham Lincoln been a vampire hunter and his friend Henry been a vampire. Next comment. This was such a beast movie. I hate how great movies get bad reviews. The action was some of the best I've ever seen, and it's honestly probably the coolest vampire movie to exist. I felt so fucking badass after this movie. And then a reply to that. Dude, I felt exactly the same. I'm sad that not too many people will get a chance because it sounds so strange. But it's honestly one of the best action movies I've ever seen. And honestly, not much of it is as cheesy as it seems either. Only the love interest thing is pretty cheesy, but it's not a huge part of the story, and it just goes back to slaughtering vampires. Then it's like an old school emoji with like an X and a capital D, like the squinty-eyed smiley, you know?
Yeah.
Next comment. The book is so kick-ass. I love the way they put fiction and fact together so perfectly. It almost seems like it was all fact.
Yeah, pretty much.
I got two more. Got two more coming up. Okay. And this is like stage directions. Me reading the title for the movie. This has got to be the stupidest thing I ever heard of. Me watching the trailer. I must see this movie. And then, as always, I save the best for last. I think I fell asleep when they taught this in history class.
Yeah, little known fact. Okay, well, it's a mentally diseased cesspool once more,
Yeah.
and we'll see what the Rotten Tomatoes kind of crowd thinks about it in our first test. Here is where we compare it to movies of its like, according to a place like IMDb. This is test number 1, the worst of its kind.
I feel like somebody stuck a big club up my ass.
The worst.
And it hurts.
of its kind.
I've got to figure out a way to get it out of there.
I don't know if you guys can hear my son. He's just like yelling. No?
For Bob, though.
Yeah, I can't hear Bob. Hey, Bob.
Will occurs.
Yeah, let me get it going anyway. Hellboy, Ron Perlman in 82. I disagree with that score. Sorry to the audience who loves that movie, but yeah, Ron Perlman, decent actor. I like him. Seems like a good guy. Movie, not great. Not terrible. Fright Night, Colin Farrell, a 72. That I haven't seen. I feel like Bob has, most likely. Bob, let's hear you chime in. Have you seen that one before?
Fright Night?
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, you can hear me now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. Wait, Colin Farrell's in Fright Night? That doesn't sound right.
I agree. Maybe it's a remake.
It might be. I'm actually have the original on my watch list because I want to see it so bad. And no, I have not seen any remake of Colin Farrell.
The original sounded up your alley, so that's why I turned it to you. Plus, I wanted to see if your mic was working, so that's good. You guys remember the animated movie 9 that came out some years ago with Elijah Wood? It's like
No.
they look like potato sacks with like organs in them, and they run around in like a junkyard and they get killed and stuff. I don't know. It's weird.
No.
58.
No.
I haven't seen it
Right.
either. The Mummy Returns with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz, a 46. So it's kind of, we're in the doldrums now. Elysium with Matt Damon, though, I thought was decent. I don't know if you guys saw that one. It's the one where he's like genetically modified. He's like becomes like not a cucumber or something. I don't mean that kind of genetically modified, but like he has like an exoskeleton that helps him fight. That one came in at a 64, an average of 64.4. How did Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter do on Rotten Tomatoes?
Oh, it's got to be at least 70% based on my reviews that I saw on YouTube.
And your own.
I don't know. I'm gonna go closer to the 20s. I'll say 23.
Bob is closer. It's a 34. For a negative 30.4 and worst of its kind. That is not the worst score we've seen here. It's still a chunk worse than the average. So we'll jot that down as we head over to the summarization of the movie in limerick form. This is test number 2. Ain't that a pitch?
But for all you Hulkamaniacs that haven't seen No Holds Barred yet, I'm making a list, and I'm checking it twice, and you better go see No Holds Barred. Otherwise, I'll body slam you when I see you. Hulkamaniacs, what you gonna do when No Holds Barred runs wild on you?
Test number 2. Ain't that a pitch? Who goes?
Okay, I think it's. I don't think I've gone first in a while.
Go. How Bob, me, then Chris. That work?
Fair.
Cool.
Sounds good. Okay, so we're pitching Abraham Lincoln, the Vampire Hunter. Here we go. There once was a man named Abe Lincoln, and a bloke named Henry, his wingman. Basic history was ignored. Emotional pain was incurred. Just talking about it, I feel sickened.
All right.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay. Pretty good.
Sorry, Rob.
There once was a bad movie podcast who totally missed the mark with this week's broadcast. Abe Lincoln fights off hordes of undead, free the slaves with Confederate bloodshed. Fuck you, Bob. This movie kicked ass.
Love that. I'm not sure taking a shot at Bob is going to get you the 5-star review you're looking for, but here I go.
Pick my battles.
Abraham Lincoln, known from California to New Hampshire, lesser known for his deeds in the night hunting vampires. This movie inspires, but in a way that backfires. It gives ammo to conspiracy slavery deniers.
Chris, 4.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna mirror that, Chris. 4.5.
Hell yeah! Was it the voice work or?
It was commitment.
Just very.
I was committed. Oh well, thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
I put some time into that one. Very proud. Jotted my win down. I'm happy to be back on the board. Let's throw it to test number 3, the most offensive.
Oh, Jimmy, don't even
Well,
worry about
no,
it.
look at me. Don't think about anything. I want to ask you a question. When you came pulling in here, did you notice a sign on the front of my house that said dead
Saddle.
storage?
Jimmy, you know I ain't seen no shit.
Did you notice a sign in the front of my house that said dead
Saddle.
storage?
No, I didn't.
You know why you didn't see that sign? Because it ain't there, because storing dead
Saddle.
ain't my fucking business. That's why.
The most offensive.
Rob
Right.
has entered my head, by the way, like during my commute. I just hear the word saddle every once in a while, just in my head.
This is not good. This is not good, Bob. I'm not gonna pry.
Not in relation to what you're thinking, okay?
You drive by a horse farm every morning.
I drive by trains and I see a train and I'm like dead train saddle storage. I just like it just pops in there, all right?
Yes, of course. Speaking of super offensive, Bob, this is the test where we talk about everything offensive in the movie in question. This starts with number 1, slavery.
Yeah, not a good
Yeah,
look.
it's not good. Not a good look. Agreed. Number
No.
2, child abuse.
Lots
Also
of it.
not a good look.
Yes. Okay, let's get serious now. Number 3, Abraham interrupting intercourse.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, he interrupts Henry like banging some chick in a bathtub. Look, vampires need some too. Number 4, to stand atop a man's top hat. To stand atop a man's top hat. So Mary Todd is her name, yeah?
Yeah.
If I remember my history and this movie correctly. She takes the top hat off of Abraham Lincoln's head, puts it down so she can step on it to make herself tall enough to kiss him, which she is denied in the end anyway. But I just thought it was rather rude to stand atop a man's top hat, especially because you don't know, even if you're a light little lady, whether or not you're going to collapse that hat when you stand on it.
You know, though,
Right.
they really knew how to starch their wares back in the day.
Evidently. Was that thing made out of Lincoln logs? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, lame.
That's good.
Thanks. Number 5, oh God. Okay, Rob, I hope your typing fingers are feeling fast today.
Pretty good.
A human having no hindrance, heedless of having a horse hucked at him and hitting him.
A human having no hindrance, heedless of having a horse hucked at him and hitting him?
Yes.
Cool. Go ahead, Bob.
Very nice, Rob.
I knew throwing a horse would make it most offensive.
Ridiculous. I mean, throwing the horse in the first place. And then it hits him, and he's just a human. He's hit by fucking Clydesdale, falls down. He's fine. No rib cage breakage, no internal organ failure, nothing of the kind. He just gets up and keeps chasing. All right, number 6, Wild Wild West painting people ripoff. This is kind of like on Moonfall when they took the joke straight from the second The Lost World Jurassic Park. This ripoff is an Abe Lincoln enters the bad guy like mansion, and he has to fight vampires who jump down from a painting that they looked like they were painted into.
Yeah,
which is something that happens in Wild Wild West.
Yeah, it's cool.
It was totally ripped.
So cool.
Number 7.
Not cool.
Okay. Let's see if you know what I mean by this.
Yep.
Biting Lincoln's Willy.
Oh.
Did he get his wiener bit?
No. No. His son's name is Willy.
Oh.
Oh, that's right. So,
Yeah.
That's you. Okay.
That's funny.
Bites his son.
Chris, your voice cut out, Chris.
Oh, can you hear me?
Where'd he go?
Uh-oh.
Oh, there you go.
He's back.
Okay, cool. Yeah, my bad. My laptop's new and it's still a piece of crap because I don't know how to take care of them. But yeah, I mean, that's how I wrote it down. I think it's funny, so that's what I went with. Let's go to number 8. It's the last one I have before I asked for mentions. And this is I've kind of said this already, but I'm going to rephrase it. Number 8 is super hot slavery take.
Super hot.
Yeah. You know what a hot take is, right? So it's one that people may agree with. You're not really sure. You're going in with this loaded gun of a hot take. You know, I totally disagree that slavery was just a way to satiate vampire bloodlust.
Yeah.
This is something Rob brought up in our text stream. Rob,
Yeah.
mind elaborating a bit so that you can explain why this movie's so bad, even though you like it?
I mean, this is the one glaring flaw I found in the entire script.
One.
They may or may not make the suggestion that the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed our African American brothers and sisters from slavery,
yes,
may have just been the result of a proxy war with vampires and wasn't the main purpose of the Civil War.
Right. Yeah,
Yes.
Is that a problem for you, Rob?
I mean,
it's not a movie destroying problem for you, because I kind of I don't support that thought.
Okay, so when I was texting you guys about how much I love this movie, that had not occurred to me yet, and
right,
I feel like I'm so deep in the sauce on this movie, and which I did thoroughly enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
They could have framed it differently.
Yeah, better.
Could have not done
not
that.
said that, not done that,
not framed that at all.
Yeah.
They could have just had the Civil War, but also this thing. But no.
Yes. That might have been a touch more tasteful.
But don't you appreciate just like the absolute audacity of that? Like, this is an escapist. It's an escapist movie. Like, you're not supposed to like view it critically, I don't feel. And that's the problem I'm having right now with the show, because it is bad, but I loved it.
Yeah, that's the thing, is you said critically. I don't like to speaking of which, I don't like to whitewash away the bad history of America by pretending it didn't happen that way. Americans are subject to the realization of their own history. We have some ugly history here. Let's not wash it away. They're doing a good job giving us more ammo to, with which to do that. And I disagree. And before I tread into deeper waters, I'm going to throw it to Rob's ad read.
Way to Ponderosa. Here I am, just like Bill Cosby in the new movie Leonard Part 6, on yet another secret mission. Surviving, I enter cautiously. Then I see it.
Now get a Leonard Part 6 mini spy camera at Ponderosa for only 99 cents with any purchase.
All right.
Hi, Leonard.
Rob's ad read.
There's a family feeling at Ponderosa.
Today's episode of The Worst Movie Ever Made is brought to you by Cabbage Patch Skids, the official adult male panty liner of Oktoberfest. Chomping on brats, decked to the nines with your Sunday best lederhosen, are you on your 14th Pilsner and don't know if you could jump out of your ceremonial garb before letting loose with the ultimate Blitzkrieg Ripper? Well, you're in luck. With Cabbage Patch Skids, all you have to do is set it, forget it, and let your underwear get it. Cabbage Patch Skids, more structurally sound than a Volkswagen Passat, able to withstand the most furious of rot. Say Guten Tag to the New World Order of comfort.
Dude, I love the way you think. That's fucking insane. Okay, thank you, Cabbage Patch Skids. Why don't we throw it to test number 4, the worst dialogue.
Some really bad dialogue.
You could drop this guy off at the Arctic Circle wearing a pair of bikini underwear without his toothbrush, and tomorrow afternoon he's going to show up at your poolside with $1 million smile and a fistful of pesos.
Unbelievable.
Nice.
All right, we have 5 here. They're going to get worse as we go, starting with the totally ridiculous and number 5. This is Vampire.
How? I watched this boy carry out his first long-awaited mission. Drunk, might I add. And I think you've wasted your time watching this one, Henry. He's not a promising recruit. He is just a selfish boy with his heart set on vengeance. And I've realized that this boy is a goddamned idiot!
I doubt he even knew his target was a vampire.
A vampire?
Yes, immortal, blood-sucking demons. Fortunately for you, Mr. Lincoln, hunting them is something of a hobby.
Vampires are just myths.
Myths don't beat you senseless after you've put a bullet in their brain. Thank you. No, Mr. Lincoln, vampires are real. They exist in every city and every state in the Union.
If what you say is true, you could help me kill him. I could pay you to kill him.
My services are not for sale. And the word you are looking for is destroy. It is quite a feat to kill that which is already dead.
Film score, though. Film score. Come on. That dun 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 dun. Fucking badass, dude.
Stop obfuscating the point. He says this boy like 6 times. Obviously, he didn't know the target was a vampire, an immortal, blood-sucking villain.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't... I appreciate their frazzled scene. I think that they wanted the frantic so that it distracted a bit from what they were laying out dialogue-wise, but it's still really bad. You can't tell somebody about vampires.
It wasn't an entertaining frantic. It was a frantic.
Yeah, like an almost uncomfortable, yeah. By the way, he grabbed sunscreen off his desk. Just throwing that out there. Going to throw it now to number 4. Yarg. This is something else.
It's inconsolable. She says he doesn't want to go on without it.
There is a way, Abraham. You know that I can restore the dead. Do it. Do it.
Mary.
Do it. Your journal. The one you always kept in your coat pocket. I know I shouldn't have, Abe, but I needed to know what you were hiding. If what you say is true, I beg you. Give us that boy back.
Mary, he wouldn't be our little boy. He would be something else, something terrible. Trust me, you don't want that.
You're asking me to trust you. After you lied to me for all these years?
I did it to protect you, to protect our family.
And how did that work out? You tricked us, Abe! You tricked us! You brought this on him! You brought this on our boy!
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing. When did we find out that Henry can restore the dead? Because I'm pretty sure it was right there. When he said, you
plus
know
he didn't.
Yeah,
Plus
that's my next
Also-
contention is that
also
they never do it. They don't do it.
Minor oversight.
I have a major contention with that scene. She's like, you never told me. You had lied to me. He fucking told her on their one date, I kill vampires at night.
He did.
I told.
That's true.
And that was the whole thing. That was the whole thing about Honest Abe, is he was honest and he told her. She just didn't believe him. That's on her.
Mhm.
Fuck her and fuck this movie.
Yeah, he did laugh. He did laugh along, like I was just joking, but he did tell her. To your point. All right, let's throw it to the next one, and this is number 3. Family.
It's one of God's little tricks. Vampires cannot kill their own kind. Only the living can kill the dead. Welcome to the family.
Just one of God's little tricks.
Yeah, we brought in like 3 entire theologies in that one 3 line.
Totally
the
insane.
living, only the living can kill the dead. What the fuck?
He says, "Welcome to the family." Then the camera pans back to Henry, and right behind him is Don Toretto with a Corona, holding it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that speaks for itself. Let's go to number. This is Africans.
To see you rise up and destroy your oppressor.
That's interesting advice coming from a slave owner.
Men have enslaved each other since they invented gods to forgive them for doing it. I've seen Jews build Egypt's glory. Seen Christians thrown a lions with my own eyes. And I've seen Africans sell their own kind to Europeans. May I share one of the revelations of my 5,000 years? We're all slaves to something. I to eternity, you to your convictions, others to the color of their skin. All I ever wanted was to see my kind granted their rightful place. But there are those of us, those like your friend Henry, who enjoy living in the dark.
Dude, he says we're all slaves to something. I to eternity, to you to your whatever, your commitment or whatever the fuck he says. The problem here is he says others to the color of their skin.
Yeah.
They're enslaved to the color of their skin, as if to say that there is a color of the skin that you don't want to have, but you were enslaved by, Rob. You were enslaved by the color of your skin. That is a fucking horrible thing to say.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree.
Horrible.
But as the movie was happening to me, I was willing to overlook that minor oversight.
Oversight.
This is twice that you're okay with downplaying slavery.
I'm not okay with it, Chris. It happened. It's a thing that is a stain on our country's legacy. All I'm saying is, I got nothing. I was entertained by Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I do not have a defense for the slavery angle.
Okay, I'm looking at you, Fred.
Right.
I'm looking at you, Fred. Okay, here's number
1, Daddy.
After a drum roll.
You know what? Fuck it.
And here.
This is my favorite.
Mr. President! There's nowhere left to run, Lincoln. Where is it? Where's the silver? Right here!
So what happened there?
There's nowhere to run, Lincoln.
Yeah, you know what's amazing about that too is that they're running like on these really tight little rails. They're like doing a balancing act on the rail, like running. So if you watch the YouTube video, which I highly encourage you to do, where can they find that, Rob?
www.theworstmovieevermade.com. You can also email us, you cowards. There's a button that now says email us, you cowards. You can click it.
Hell yeah.
Email us.
Email us, cowards. He's running on a train rail, and he looks so dainty, and he's supposed to look so tough, and it's awesome. But what brings down the house is when he turns around to the head vampire, Adam, saying to him, "Where's your silver, Lincoln?" And Lincoln pulls out his pocket watch, wraps it around his wrist or his fist or whatever, and punches Adam in the stomach and says, "Right here." And that, I guess, is enough. That's enough to kill him.
You know what, though? Like, all the other kerfuffles aside, that's what made the movie for me. There's no running now, Lincoln. Like, this is so fucking stupid. And like, not to mention, that's like the fifth tonal shift that we've seen by the third act. They couldn't get it right.
No. Okay. Yeah. Let's. Okay.
I feel like there in every good story, every good movie, anyway, there should be 3 acts. Yeah. I feel like there were really 2, but we'll get into that in the catch-all later on. For now, we're going to throw it to Bob for test number 5, the worst production.
Hey, dirtbag. You're allowed to.
Production.
I don't like loud
productions.
You wasted a kid for nothing. Now I think it's time to waste you.
All right. So You know, slavery aside, and I really hesitate to say that out loud.
Should I include that on the worst production? Slavery aside?
No. Slavery aside, I had a bigger problem with Rob's liking of this movie.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say, I said it in the text stream. I'll say it again. Taking itself too seriously.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, that's my tagline. And it's going to be short and sweet. Okay, this movie was definitely based on a book that was very fun in spirit, right? Like the story had so much promise.
Yes.
And somewhere between page and screen, the fun just ran away laughing with a paycheck in hand.
Yeah.
I'm going to quote a reviewer. Somebody forgot to tell the filmmakers that this movie is supposed to be fun or at least smart. And
Yes.
that is also my opinion. This isn't fun. Army of Darkness got it right. All right?
Right.
You can do horror, you can do like kind of scary, but you can totally understand and wink and nod at the camera saying this is hilarious. Like Shaun of the Dead, for example. Like,
yeah, perfect.
Take the ride with us.
Yes.
This is not it. This was like serious the whole way through, and it just lost me.
Couldn't agree more, Bob. Rob?
That's it.
I don't know. I thought if you're given a script and on the front page it says Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Yeah.
I feel like they got the assignment. I think they were deliberately playing it straight. That's just me. I think they didn't do the best of
Bob,
jobs.
that was so subtle.
Far too straight. Far too straight.
That's why I enjoyed it so much, because it's just like
I love it. Rob, you were like, I think they got the assignment, and Bob was like,
it's not.
He just like turned his head like,
because listen, they're playing it serious, but it's like a 6'7" tall man with a top hat, fucking swinging an axe.
Yeah,
running
but
through the woods.
Yeah,
where
was the top hat in the vampire killing? Nowhere. That's a big mistake. A big
That'd
mistake.
Been funny.
Huge
he
mistake.
Used the hat.
Silver lined fucking top hat.
That
boomerang frisbee.
That he throws like a James Bond movie.
Yes.
Like Kung Lao from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my god, that would have been amazing.
They totally missed their chance for that one.
Well,
agreed.
My brain's got two halves, and they're both not fully functional, but I just enjoyed myself. I don't know why. I can't explain it. It's like more like a feeling in my heart than it is like a matter of intellect. I just sincerely enjoyed this movie.
At this point, we know Rob's gonna watch it again, so let's just keep going.
Yeah, it sounds like he came to a musket fight with an axe, though. I speaking of throwing hats that are coated in silver, I was given a movie suggestion by the head chef I mentioned, sometimes Taylor. He's 3 for 3. He's batting 1,000 so far. And have you guys heard of Hard Ticket to Hawaii?
Yes,
no,
I've seen it.
All right, we gotta do that.
I've seen it. Lots of 80s nudity in Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Ooh,
I'm fine with that. I saw a scene where a man chops the fingers off and slits the throat of a man with a frisbee on the beach.
Correct.
Oh, it
sounds amazing. The clips I've seen look amazing. Can't wait to watch that one. We got to throw it up. Maybe it'll be our last movie of the season or something.
I'm getting non-email suggestions as well. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So we will just lie and say they came in the form of the email, and we'll just do them. But for now, we'll throw it to test number 6. This is the worst acting.
This is where the law stops, and I start.
Acting badly.
Sucker.
Number 1, Mr. Sturgis.
Congratulations. May I introduce Mr. Henry Sturgis, my wife, Mary, and my dear friend, Will Johnson.
Heavens, Mr. Sturgis, you're as chilly as the winter wind.
Henry, please.
I'm afraid that's a hazard of carrying one's own bottle.
Well, you know what they say, cold hands, warm heart.
Yes, and I highly doubt that.
Mr. Sturgis is a business associate.
Yes, and I thought we could talk a little business.
Oh, of course. Oh, excuse me. What the hell are you doing here?
Be cautious, Abraham. One forgets how easily we can lose the most precious things.
They don't even know who I am.
Why was growl? Growling.
Just the music placement is perfect though. It's like boom,
Yeah, but
ominous
I mean,
cellos.
that's the thing is that the score is supposed to make you feel a certain way without you realizing it's there.
Yeah.
I
You know,
but still.
yeah, but they go from doo 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 doo, and Abe is like, "May I introduce my friend, Mr. Sturgis?" and then they go to him just being like, "What are you doing here?" like he's Batman all of a sudden, and the music changes with it. It's just this movie sucks, bro.
It's so entertaining.
All right, let's go to number 2. I hate to do this, I really do, but this is a very small role. It doesn't really even. This woman is almost an extra, but she's so bad. I got to do it. This is Up North.
I take it y'all came from up north?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I suggest you get back there as fast as you can. There's a war coming. War for the soul of the country. Gonna be all colors of blood spilled.
Yep, that's it. There's a wall coming. A wall for the soul of the country.
That was Harriet Tubman, right? Was that the scene with Harriet Tubman?
I guess
There were several
Probably.
scenes
I
with
have no-
Harriet Tubman. All right.
Well, yeah, but that was like the scene with Harriet Tubman.
Oh God.
You know.
They really just raped Harriet Tubman in this movie.
Jesus. My friend and former guest of the pod, Kevin Meng, he had a username, Harriet Tub Girl.
Yeah, he did.
Fucking amazing. If you don't know what Tub Girl is, don't look it up. Number 3. This is Silver.
The generals think we should evacuate Washington, run the war from New York or Boston if need be.
You have to win this war. If you don't, then all of it. Then our son's death will have been for nothing.
How can I win a war when I can't even protect my own family? Our men have no way of defending themselves against this enemy. When our bullets are useless, our bayonets are as powerless as this fork.
Wait a dick.
Wait for
Mary, you're a
it.
genius.
Will, speed. This is what we need.
Speed.
A fork.
Silver. Okay. How much do we need? All of it.
All right, that was ripped off from Leon the Professional.
Fuck
Remember?
yes.
Remember he said
Everyone.
yeah, everyone.
Also, Twister. They needed all the Pepsi cans.
Oh my God,
Remember?
Twister
Oh
sucked.
my God, they did need all that.
I'm voting for Twister in a future episode.
Okay.
Bob, I hate you for it, but I'll do it.
Sorry,
I'll do it.
Watch it again. You'll
Game
see.
over, man.
But it's got Philip Seymour Hoffman, and he's throwing 100 miles per hour.
Well, he's great for
Also
what
has
he's
Helen
given.
Hunt.
She sucks.
Yeah, and I don't understand the attraction. She's like,
And I love Bill Paxton. I think he's hilarious, but this was not the role for him.
I feel like his like wet blanket wife is actually really effective too.
Yeah.
I don't know the actress's name. You don't see her a whole lot, but she's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's wrong with it?
Everything.
I mean, come on. We got Carrie
Flying cows.
Carrie Ellis.
This is one of the first. That was the first movie I ever walked out of the theater watching.
Jesus. You didn't
What
want to
did
know
it
how
for
it
you?
ended?
What did it for you, Bob? Was it the belt on the fence post when a fucking class 5 twister tore down everything, but they were safe?
We were. It was a bad seat. We were like in the front row of the theater,
Yeah.
and like the cow went flying across the screen, moving into the camera, and both of us looked at each other and said, "We're out of here." And we just walked out.
Fair. All right, you will get your Twister day when I get my Con Air day.
Okay.
I never saw that, so whatever.
It's great.
Okay, that's so next season we're doing blockbusters, block suckers, or some some shit like that. All right, number 4. Nice quick clip for you. This one is simply entitled "No."
Hello, Speed. Where's the silver?
Silver. Should be here.
Why did you lie to me?
To get you all in one place. To finish you.
What, Chris?
I was just wondering if nothing. The no is why we're there. If you zoom in on his face during that scene, it's totally ridiculous. Rob, this movie is indefensible. I'm sorry. It just is.
All right. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, Chris and Bob.
Well, it just so happens that one of the three of us writes on a movie website, and it's not me. All right. Well, I'm wondering, Bob, is it Chad Smith last comic shop time, or are we going to wait?
He's gonna pop on around 10:15, so he should be here any second. So let's just start the segment and we'll see what happens.
Okay, beautiful. I'm wondering, should I get through a couple catch-alls until he joins, and then I'll just leave a market where I'm at, and
Why
he
don't
can
you
participate fully?
introduce him and introduce my
Yes.
bit, and then I have a couple things to stall.
Okay, beautiful. Well, we have a guest this week. We did not give you any foreshadowing on this. Really fun episode. We have from the Last Comic Shop podcast, we have Chad Smith joining us. He's got other friends over there at the Last Comic Shop, that's J. Andrew Scott, and Andrew Larson, and I think, what was it, Russ Braun? Is that right?
I think so.
And, a couple others. It seems like they have a rotating cast over there. I was giving them a listen earlier and thoroughly enjoyed it. If you like comic books, that's the place to go. They break down particular comic, issues, as well as movie adaptations, it looks like. So I'll let Chad correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't wait until he joins us. I think this is going to be really fun. The reason that we have him joining, Bob, is why specifically?
Well, last week I asked Rob if it was okay, because I do not watch Marvel movies, if I could get a comic expert to take over my segment and ask Rob questions. And Chad gets me every time, because I'll say, "Hey, Chad, I watched a Marvel movie," and he'll be like, "Hey, what'd you think of blah, 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 blah?" And I'll be like, "What are you talking about?" And it's because he's all into the source material and all into the adaptation, and I have no idea what he's talking about. But so he's an expert, and he will be happy to ask you questions, and he has a great sense of humor, much like ours. And he's a dad just like us. I think you'll enjoy him. But yeah, that's why I invited him on, and he agreed, because he will do anything I ask.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Throwing some flames there. Well, it looks like he's ready to join. Let me just introduce a segment while we get him hooked up. This is Fact or No Fact. We will do 5 lies, one of which is actually a fact, and Rob and Chad and I will have to try to pick out the fact from the fodder, so to speak.
Five lies or 5 truths?
It is. No. I think you're right. I said that wrong. There are 4 truths in a lie. You got to find the lie. It is only on our good movie episodes, that you have to find the truth among the lies.
Yes.
So here we go.
Go for the bumper.
No fact.
All right. Hello.
Hey, what's up, Chad? Thanks for joining.
What's up, Chad?
Hey, Chad.
I apologize. I am not a Discord dude. So
no, it's okay.
It's all good.
First time using that.
Man, you got the comics behind you.
Yeah, this is my nerd dungeon. Ah,
It's
there it
awesome.
goes.
No. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We heard a lot about you from Bob. I gave you a nice,
Thanks, Bob.
a nice plug and introduction. We're going to introduce you into the Fact or No Fact segment where Bob is going to tell us 5 truths, but one is actually a lie about the movie in question. That's Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. How are you
Ooh,
today,
buddy.
by the way?
I'm all right, other than the fact that my little stand isn't working right for me right now. No, things are going well. I tried to watch Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. It's tough. Once they told him the top hat was ridiculous, I was like, no, it's not ridiculous. That's what Abraham Lincoln does. He wears top hats.
That's true. That is,
and he takes
that is one of
names.
the things that we know about him.
Yeah. So is this part of the recording or no?
Yeah, we are.
Oh.
We are essentially live. I mean, we could edit out whatever,
Hot
but
dog.
we
Sorry.
probably won't. So
it's all staying in.
Yeah, don't worry.
All right, I apologize. I'm trying to get my stuff to stand up. I'm usually with Skype and everything. I can turn it sideways.
Got you.
That's what's getting me. But anyway, all right. I do have a couple questions. Bob told me to be ready with a couple of questions.
Hold that till the next segment. We will do. We're gonna do the fact or no fact. Chris, put the bumper on if we have it. Do we have a bumper?
Yeah, I got a bumper.
Shoot it.
Fact. No fact. Fact. No fact.
All right. So this is the segment called Fact or No Fact, and I just titled this Fact or No Fact: Abraham Lincoln Movie Killer. Rob.
Yeah.
This is a segment where I will read 5 things. One of them is a lie, and the other 4 are actual facts about the movie. And it's a game with no stakes for the members of the podcast. So, Chad, feel free to join in and weigh in on your selection.
Awesome.
Bob.
To see what you think the lie is.
Bob, having no stakes is not good for a vampire hunter.
Oh,
excellent.
Zing. Yeah,
that was good. Okay. All right. First one. The actors who auditioned for Abe Lincoln had to give the entire Gettysburg Address to the director and casting director.
No way.
Okay. Second one. Benjamin Walker, who was Abe Lincoln, trained to be able to do a lot of his own stunt work with an axe.
Okay.
So that was actually him doing it. Third one. The film was shipped to the cinema with the code name Bloody Honest. Okay, fourth one. Walker, once again, Benjamin Walker, cast as Abe Lincoln, was cast as Abe Lincoln ahead of Adrian Brody. Adrian Brody lost the role to Benjamin Walker.
Interesting.
And the fifth one. This screening of the movie marks the first time that a major motion picture made its debut for United States service members.
I like a USO show.
Something like that.
All right.
Which one's a lie?
Okay. I'm calling Bob foolery on the Adrian Brody one. I feel like maybe they approached Adrian Brody and then he was like, fuck no. And then they got Walker instead. Let's see. Actors who auditioned had to give the entire Gettysburg Address to the casting director. I mean, that's not as far-fetched as John Travolta learning 600 hours of Spanish lessons just in case he needed it for the movie Michael. So it's not outside the realm of possibility. Trained to do his own stunt work with an axe. I mean, there's so much CGI. I want to say that most of it was fabricated, but during the scenes that weren't CGI, he was pretty good at twirling that thing. So possibly true. Bloody Honest sounds plausible. I want to say it didn't make a debut for service members because that's just, I don't know. I don't think revisionist history of this magnitude is a good look for people that are potentially dying overseas to protect your country. So
that's fair.
Probably didn't want to do that.
Rob, you think they're all lies, it sounds like.
No,
yeah.
I eliminated them. I'm circling back. I want to say the lie is the Gettysburg Address. Because you guys really don't like this movie. And I think that piece of information being true gives the movie too much credit. So following the logic, I'm going to say that's the lie. I don't think they wanted them to be that prepared.
I completely agree. That would have been my lie as well. Chad, do you want to go before me, or would you like me to run them over again? Because
it's up to you. I have my selection here.
Okay, go for it.
Because I could definitely see the axe thing as perfectly plausible. I mean, this is the type of movie where people are going to go method. They're going to want those axe handling skills.
Daniel Day-Lewis, powerhouse performance.
Yes. I could also see the makers of this movie wanting to show this to our overseas troops because they had the perception that this is fine art, and unfortunately, sharing that.
Sure.
And also the whole Gettysburg Address thing. Once again, part of the method. I'm with that one. So I'm going to say the lie is the name of the film being Bloody Honest. Do you know why? Because that's cool. And this movie is not cool. Nothing about this movie is as cool and as fun as that. So that's the lie.
That is fair. I was
uppercut with the watch when he's like right here.
No, that's especially uncool, Rob. Actually.
Okay, fair enough.
I was going to believe the film shipped as Bloody Honest because I thought maybe shipping the film they have a kind of a budget for letters, what they label it, and Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter is a long title, so they would be forced to come up with some kind of nickname. So I'm willing to believe that. I really like that Walker was cast as Adrian Brody to begin with because he is a lanky and former contender for sexiest man on Earth or whatever. I think somehow.
Didn't he embarrass himself at the Oscars or something along the way? So I could see him slumming it here.
He open mouth kissed somebody against their will, on camera.
Oh my God!
From that point on, it's all vampire hunters and trauma films and everything else.
All right, with that in mind, I'll go with number 4. Walker was meant his Honest Abe character was meant for Adrian Brody because he was also in that really bad King Kong movie.
Oh yeah.
So he does do bad movies. We'll go with that one. How's that sound?
Well, I'm not used to 3 different answers.
And we all have a 60% chance here.
I'm gonna tell you ahead of time, just for suspense purposes, that one of you has won.
Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna throw you for a curveball real quick. At the time of this film's release, the lead, Benjamin Walker, was married to Meryl Streep's daughter. And that same year, Meryl Streep presented the Best Actor award to Daniel Day-Lewis for playing
Abraham
Lincoln. That's right.
How about that?
I thought that was kind of an interesting one.
Small world.
All right. Yeah.
Speaking of method, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yes.
He's a method guy.
He is the method man.
So this made a very unconventional debut with a screening for troops deployed in the Middle East for about 1,800 sailors aboard the Navy aircraft carrier, the USS Abraham Lincoln.
Holy shit! So that's a fact.
What a disgrace.
Can we apologize on behalf of America for that?
I think we ought to.
We don't have the authority. We don't have the authority. And Adrian Brody did audition for the part and was beat out by Benjamin Walker.
No kidding.
Also a fact.
Okay. All right, that sucks. I lose.
And the movie was shipped with the code name Bloody Honest.
I have a feeling.
Which means Benjamin Walker did do his own stunt work with an axe, and Rob wins again.
Wow, Robbie. Great job.
This is partially due to the fact that he gets to choose first, because Chris did say he was going to pick that one too.
I did, which makes it another team win. Great job, Chad. Great job, Chris. Great job, Rob. Let's throw it to the catch-all. We're going to talk about all the flaws that we couldn't fit into our tests in the catch-all. And Chad, I can't wait for you to chime in if you feel so inclined. Rob, throw it to that bumper.
And now it's time for the catch-all. The doors suck.
Yeah, they do.
Right.
I agree. So you guys remember the lead villain vampire comes into his house to like eat his mom in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Maybe lock your doors at night.
Yeah.
You know, just saying. Like I do. I don't know if you guys do, but make sure that vampires can't just walk through my front door because I lock my front door. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
While I'm on the subject,
I live in a gun state, and the front gate of my apartment complex is always broken, so my door's always locked.
yeah, hell yeah, dude. Imagine if it was a vampire that can like disappear and had a gun. Like you want that front door locked.
Yeah.
Speaking of on the subject, yell when your house is broken into. Abe, like young Abe, is just laying in his bed, and he sees the vampire come in, and he's just like, weird.
Yeah. See, I saw that as he was overcome with terror, and he didn't know how to articulate his fears. Chris.
All right.
It was a different time. All right. It was a different time.
Yeah.
Kids don't have context. They don't know. Vampires might be a thing.
Yeah. Maybe he's
true.
come here to help us. He's like the garlic fairy or something. Mom dying while you're in bed with her is pretty rough.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be bitter too, I think.
Yes. Rob, you like this movie. I can't believe it.
I can't either.
It
We start
is
out with
absurd, escapist, fantasy, revisionist history.
All right, you
Moving
win.
on.
Bad CGI battle between Henry, his coach, and the first bad guy. I wish I jotted his name down. I'm not sure why I didn't. But they're like by the docks and they're like throwing each other around. It's pretty bad. Shouldn't he be taller? Rob, you said he's like 6'7". He's not. He's like 5'11".
Yeah. I think that the top hat throws in some confusion, but I think the real Abe Lincoln was considerably
He was like
taller.
6'5" or some shit, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, people say of Napoleon that he wasn't as short, at least compared to the people of his time, as we make it seem.
He
So
was
maybe
appetite,
time passing
I don't
adds
know.
inches.
I watched for it. They made him tall enough. Move on.
I'm not up with
Wow.
world leader heights,
Yeah.
weights, and measurements. I can't speak to this one.
Bob, you're throwing shade at me. It's supposed to go all to Rob.
Yeah.
That's right.
So Rob, here's one for you. He has super truth powers.
They don't call him Honest Abe for nothing.
His
for the
power
whole
comes
part.
from truth.
Except for the part where he lied to his wife for the entire movie.
He chops it.
But he didn't.
He chops down a tree with one sweep because of truth.
I mean,
Oh, that scene. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that scene.
that's what I'm
No,
saying.
but
Henry's
he
like,
does-
it's truth.
He does tell his wife the truth. And
does.
I know,
then
but-
later on, she says, "You never told me the truth." So it's completely wrong. This movie's bad.
Fair enough. Chad, you're familiar with some movie tropes, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Let me give you a couple. In this one, they have a training montage trope. The standard, he gets better with an axe over the course of a few minutes. Are you familiar with DVDA, the South Park guys, their joke band?
Unfortunately, I'm not.
Okay,
Sorry.
have you seen Team America World Police?
F yeah.
Okay, nice. Well, then you'll know the montage song.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
been 25 years. I don't know, when did Team America come out?
Yeah, seriously, it might have been.
2004, I think. Yeah. Long time.
Yeah, so 19 years. Fuck. God damn it. I hate feeling old. Lately, I've been
Sorry.
in a very sensitive place about my age. Well, anyway, there's a training montage. There's also an evil gang rundown trope that we love here on the Worst Movie Ever Made, where they introduce each member of the evil gang and what they do for the gang, and that's
nice.
pretty awesome. Yeah.
Did they have a slow walk as well?
Yeah,
like
side by
Armageddon.
side. Yeah, in goose V formation.
Yeah.
That's right.
Second time in 20 minutes that Lincoln's right eye is swollen shut. I'm thinking, let's get some new injuries going.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if he's getting beat up, why is it always the same spot? Steve the pirate from Dodgeball plays another Steve in this movie. I don't know if he was Steve the Pirate already. I'm gonna cast somebody else just because I don't want to like double Steve this dude. From now on in his acting career, we're gonna he's gonna be Steve's only.
He's typecast.
Yeah, exactly. He's the Steve now, and I
right.
feel bad for him.
Oh, can't have you. Steve Zahn's already booked.
Yeah,
he's gonna lose a lot of work.
He was born with it, so some people are just born with it. He caught the knife. So this is Abe Lincoln. He like goes into like some powder mixing guy. He's got like a mortar and pestle, and he goes into his shop, and he gets like trapped. He's hung upside down, and then a knife falls out of his pocket. He catches it with his mouth, and then he slits the vampire's throat with the mouth knife.
Yep.
That's a fucking ridiculous way to kill somebody. Just saying, Rob. Sorry. I will give them some creative deaths, some imaginary imagery, some thoughtful cinematography. The movie was not a total stinker, but it was bad. Okay, there you go, Rob. That's all I'm giving it.
Right.
The Falcon for Marvel, right? What's his face?
Anthony Mackie.
Anthony Mackie. Yeah, I was gonna say Mackie. Yeah, he is in this movie, Chad.
Ooh,
you know that it is Will, I think is his name. Is that right?
Yeah, his childhood friend.
Yes.
Oh, the childhood friend. Okay.
Yeah, he's the Falcon. Bob, you must know that, being such a huge Marvel fan. Stoking the flames here a little bit.
Oh, you all know me so well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rob, you'll love this. Ham-fisted politics.
Very hammy. Lots of fisting.
They just every once in a while give Lincoln, being like, that's not the America that I want to lead, or America is better than that. And you're like, wow, what a speech.
Brings a tear to your eye. Really
it's just bad.
As the orchestra swells in the background, cellos at a rapid staccato. Yeah, fantastic.
Henry's sunglasses, cool or not cool?
Not cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. They were going for. I think Wild West did the steampunk thing better, which is saying a lot.
Wow,
they look like miniature welding glasses, like too small for a human head.
Agreed. You know how Morpheus from the Matrix brought around those sunglasses that just clip to the nose, but they don't have the the bar on either side of your head. I feel like they were trying to do that.
All right.
All right, come on, get the ridiculous CGI horse stampede.
That was fucking. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Did you make it that far, Chad? Did you make it to the horse stampede?
I can't say that I did.
If you are recklessly stoned on edibles, you think to yourself, man, the choreography on this is fucking amazing. But then you realize you're recklessly high on edibles and you're watching this, and you're like, wait a minute.
And you're watching two people that aren't people.
They're probably
there's no choreography at all.
They're probably standing on a surfboard in front of a green screen, just going like that.
How did they get the horses to do that on cue, man?
Holy
super
shit.
impressive.
Yeah, right.
I thought Babe Pig in the City was impressive, but this is a whole other level.
Chad, before we were saying in our most offensive test, the test where we talk about everything offensive in the movie, that the vampire actually grabs a horse by the ankles and throws the horse at Abe Lincoln.
Oof.
Which we're not really into animal abuse here, be it true or no animals harmed in the making of this film,
Right.
So
how much is that vampire bench though?
I know
it's whipping around horses.
Well, if you know the truth, you also can bench a horse.
Yes.
Apparently. Turns out Henry is a vampire, as if they didn't give it away. I already said this, but with the sunscreen that he had on his desk indoors, they gave away the lead on that. Henry is a vampire teaching other people to kill vampires because he knows they're horrible. You shouldn't know that, but they show him in the scene where he's frantic, grab sunscreen and put it on while he's indoors. Now he's a vampire.
The decanter full of blood was also another giveaway.
Yeah, that could have been a rosé.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
But they didn't necessarily explain ever why a vampire can't kill a vampire, except for it's one of God's tricks.
God's little tricks.
One of God's little tricks.
Speed is just like, okay, I'll kill vampires with you.
Yeah.
Nobody in this movie is like, what are you talking about, fucking vampires? Vampires don't exist. Everybody's just like, all right, let's kill them. Let's get rid of these vampires.
Except for Mary Todd. She just laughed it off.
That's true. She did. Become the president you were born to be. I wrote because they totally had a scene where it was like you were meant to be in politics and you were meant to be president, and it's just a little grandiose for my liking.
Yeah.
His aging is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's
he goes from like 30 to 60 in a scene, and nobody else is 60. Everybody else is like 40.
Listen, they didn't have the makeup budget to get the rest of those guys.
No way.
They gave Anthony Mackie a little bit of white in his hair. Just like
and then
dusted it with like a sponge or something.
They did that thing with Elmer's glue where they let it dry and they rub it in a little bit so it gets all crinkly.
Yeah, exactly. They try so hard to make the Civil War about vampires. The connection is so loose and unintelligible that I don't fully understand it. And that's not a good movie, Rob. It's just not.
Yeah.
I'll keep going. Thousands of people, these are slaves, hiding in bushes. And the baddies are too dumb to notice that somehow. There's like 6 people per bush, and we don't know. We don't realize they're there. You got to put that in the write-up, 6 people per bush?
Yes.
Lame train fight scene. I can't see anything. That's on purpose. I fucking hate that. Trains, especially old trains, can't climb hills greater than 1 degree ascension. And this one's climbing like a 35, 40 degree hill. And it's just not possible.
Research.
Yeah, well, I had heard that old trains can't climb hills, you know?
Huh.
It's just the power of a magnet, right?
Yeah, but there was the power of truth in the train, as we've established, Chris.
They threw the truth
train.
pole.
It ran side by side with the Soul Train until they split in Denver.
Oh, beautiful. Well done, Chad. Well done. Nice. I love the scene where, and we clip this, it's when Abe realizes that forks are made of silver and we need to get all the forks to kill the vampires. They're at dinner together, he and Mary, and they're having a conversation that has to do with their son in the beginning. And then when he realizes that forks are made of silver and they're going to kill vampires with it, he runs to the next room that has no divide to tell Speed and Will about the silver plan. They're just sitting there listening to their like intimate dinner.
Yeah.
You'll eat when we're finished.
Yeah, right. All right, I got a couple more, and then we'll get into the special guest segment of Rob's Magic Marvel Corner, unless you have mentions. Henry knows how to jolt a guy to get his pistol to fall out. As it turns out, because in the beginning, he gives Abe a shove, and his pistol comes out. And then at the very end of the movie, as if to tease another movie where we have another vampire hunter, Barack Obama, a vampire hunter or something.
When he says, "I only see a man get that drunk when he's about to talk to a woman or kill a man,
kill somebody," yeah. And he jolts him, and pistol falls out again, and it's like a tease or something. I don't know. It's really dumb. Is there still a vampire problem if Henry is still hunting vampires, or did we get rid of them all?
We're gonna say yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna assume. I think they opened it for a sequel, it just never materialized.
Yeah,
for some
because
reason.
this movie sucked. Yeah. All right, last one I have is the blood drip America at the end was a little kind of a fart noise for me. You guys want to mention anything about this movie that you hated that doesn't fall into our categories before we throw it to Rob's Magic Marvel Corner?
I we're good.
Moving on.
Okay, let's get the expert in here. Chad Smith for the Last Comic Shop podcast is going to ask Rob some questions, and me too.
Awesome.
Let's get into it.
Rob's
Magic
Okay.
Marvel Corner.
Rob's
Jones.
Magic
Smash.
Marvel
Big monster.
Movie
Let's go!
Corner.
Fine.
All right, so Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think it was 2018. And Chad, just so you know, this whole bit came about basically, I'm not a fan of the Marvel franchise. I don't hate them, but like I was like, it's a whole other universe I didn't want to take in. I brought in Fast 9 for an episode, and as dumb as those movies are, like just like this one, I'm just like, I like just letting those movies happen to me because they're entertaining at like a very base level. And then Chris kind of suggested, well, they're basically superheroes. Why don't you like Marvel? So I basically committed the next 34 weeks of my life into watching every Marvel Cinematic Universe movie in chronological order, so I could basically answer a couple questions every episode. And this is where we're at.
Chad, I would like to request that I go first since yours are going to be better than mine. Is that okay?
You'll be surprised. But
okay.
Rob, what movie are we doing?
Ant-Man and the Wasp with Paul Rudd and Joe Mantegna.
Joe Mantegna?
That's Michael Douglas.
Okay, number one for me. How are you feeling about Marvel after 20 movies?
I'm tired, boss.
Okay, that's all I got.
I do like the Ant-Man ones, so
okay,
cool. I'll give you that. All
right. So I've got a follow-up that's similar to that.
Yeah.
All right, and this one, because I do have a hearty mix. I do come from the Last Comic Shop podcast, where we do a variation on the per system, where we pick a book, read a book, rate a book, and then we recommend other comic books. It's all about comic book stuff. But we will talk about the Marvel movies and things like that.
Yeah.
The 5 R's of comics.
That's right. Per. But so I have some comic-based questions, and then I have a couple ones just about movies themselves.
Okay.
The first is Paul Rudd. We know he's funny. We know he's charming. He's handsome. He's talented. He's self-deprecating. What's your favorite part about Paul Rudd and Ant-Man and the Wasp? Was it the magic? Was it the drums? Was it when he was Michelle Pfeiffer? What did it for you?
I did like the drums.
Me too. He's a drummer.
Is he really? For real?
No, I'm saying you are.
Yeah, I am.
Don't you have your kit behind you?
Oh, that's awesome. Unfortunately, that's incorrect. It's actually his cardboard castle building skills.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah,
Yes.
his whole roller coaster slide getup was actually really cool. He made really good use of his house arrest. I'll give him that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The cardboard mansion building was very impressive. Do you think he brought along any large ant experts for the inside structure? Because they're very good at building.
That's free labor, man. Yeah. Those worker ants.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of slavery,
if one's willing to be under house arrest for Paul Rudd, the rest might be willing to help him build a cardboard castle. So
that's fair.
Number two for me, if you're done, Chad, with number one.
Yep, that's number one.
Okay, number two for me. Do you think Michael Pena is effective in this film, given his history with the pod, which is, if you don't know, End of Watch,
Moonfall.
which we fucking hated, and Moonfall. Yeah. Do you like him in this?
I do. He plays just like the affable goofball like sidekick. He's clearly like an intelligent man, but he's over enthusiastic, and his over enthusiasm towards everything kind of overshadows his intelligence. I think it's a good device for like a comedic romp that's full of action.
Okay. Yeah.
There we go. I've got one that follows up on that. One of the things about the Ant-Man movies, they have a ton of charm, right? Like they're very silly. They're not taking themselves seriously until you get to the third one, which I wouldn't even recommend watching. It was terrible. Okay. But when it comes to that charm, we all know there's Paul Rudd. He's fantastic. But if you had to choose, who do you think is the better supporting player? Is it Michael Pena's Lewis or Randall Park's Jimmy Woo?
I'm gonna go with Lewis. I'm gonna go with Michael Pena. I think I think the whole truth serum thing was a bit. I'm 35 and I'm pretty cynical, but like I could see the appeal of that whole exchange with the like the neck injection and him just like going off on that wild tangent explaining Paul Rudd's emotional state, or what is his name, Scott in the movie.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. He's being interrogated, and he's just like not making light of it, but he's just not in the right state of mind to fully answer the questions.
Yeah.
So that
And
made
plus,
it
that's the callback and repeating the same bit from the first movie where he's telling all the stories and going through all the different machinations and everything. I did think that was a really cool way to go about that.
Yeah, they tie it together real nice.
Well, if I can add to that, Chad, I really like Jimmy Woo in WandaVision.
There you go.
If you are a fan of WandaVision, then we can have a quick chat. I really loved the first couple episodes in black and white.
Oh, when they were still doing the sitcom takeoffs, I loved WandaVision. Whenever they got into like the story proper, I was like, all right, it's okay.
Same here. My wife and I started WandaVision because it was one of the first like television shows in the Marvel universe on Disney.
Right.
And so we were still in. And when they were doing this like black and white sitcom idea, like it was a Dick Van Dyke style show, I thought it was so innovative that they were doing like a superhero in that universe. I loved it, and it was really funny and it was cool. And then they turned it into like a Marvel movie. And I was a little bummed, but
no, I agree. And it combined two of my loves because I love comic book nerdy stuff and I also love sitcoms. It doesn't matter how bad or how good the sitcom, like give me a 30-minute sitcom and I can sit there and watch it. And they were playing with all those tropes. And then adding the additional, like the glitches and stuff like that. So it had that extra level of intrigue and all of that stuff worked really well for me. I was so excited waiting for the next episodes.
Same here. And then, and it was not bad ever. Every episode was good, but I just wish they stuck to the black and white. I just thought it would be a great like mini universe.
Absolutely.
That black and white sitcom thing that's not canon even, but just a really interesting idea. But anyway, I digress. Should I shoot with my third now, Rob?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Okay. Is loosey-goosey the loosey-goosey use of the term quantum to half-ass explain otherwise inexplicable events as upsetting to you as it is to me?
It is, and I think they actually mentioned that in somewhere in the first act when they're briefing him on like his next. They want him to go subatomic again to find the wife or the mother, and he's like, "Are you guys just throwing quantum in front of everything?" And they kind of they kind of just brush it off and like just move on.
But that for me doesn't save it.
Yeah.
You know,
I know you don't like junk science in films, but
I hate junk science in films.
Oh, no wonder the MCU isn't a house favorite because it's all
it is.
Science.
Chad, I am the MCU believer here. I am the supporter of the MCU of the three of us. Bob doesn't watch it. Rob is like so, but I am.
I'm muscling through it.
I'm a Marvel until the Infinity Saga is over.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Everything since then's been a little bit disappointing.
I think Ragnarok. Chris and I are on the same page. Ragnarok is probably the best one. Thor
Ragnarok is my favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
My ass off.
I go back and forth with I think for me it's still Cap 2, the Winter Soldier.
I love the Winter Soldier. I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah.
If you listen back to the episode where I talk about the Winter Soldier, I don't know which one that was. I defend it vehemently because I thought it was underrated. His dark tale is so entertaining to me for the wrong reasons, but the movie is fantastic.
Not
to blow smoke, but
when it came out, my biggest complaint was it was totally badass, but they could have made it slightly more badass had they done one or two things they did in the comics.
Yeah,
like in the comics, Bucky Barnes goes throughout history and like shows up at historical events as like a sniper, like anti-Captain America guy taking people out.
Okay.
And, like give me that 10-minute montage of him showing up in an airport, starting, this war and taking it would have been great.
He's basically like a reverse Forrest Gump. He's showing up to significant events and altering it.
A little bit of Forrest Gump, a little bit of Otto from that last movie, if you guys saw that one.
Reverse Forrest Gump. I'm in.
Right up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, third question from Chad. Yes.
Okay. Third question for me. And I made some of these multiple choice, and I'm pulling in some comic stuff here. Dr. Elias Starr appears in this movie as Ava/Ghost's father.
Mm-hmm.
In the comic book universe, what is his supervillain name? Is it Growing Man, Is it Dirk Anger? Is it Zach with 3 Z's? Or is it Egghead?
I have no fucking clue. I
Egghead.
like the way Dirk Anger sounds, so I'm just gonna go with that.
Dirk Anger, Asian of Next Wave, is like the send off of Nick Fury. Unfortunately, that's not the correct answer. It was Egghead. Long time Ant-Man villain Egghead.
I had a feeling. My wife just arrived. Hey, honey. I thought it might be Egghead because they brought Lawrence Fishburne in, and I hate to say it, he's got a bit of an egghead.
His head is quite eggy.
It is.
Well, that wasn't the Lawrence Fishburne character. This was the doctor that blows up, and him and his wife blow up, and then Ghost. She gets the ghost powers.
Yeah.
That was
my
Egghead.
apologies. Then
that was yeah.
Well, then all yokes aside, my apologies.
Oh.
All right, let's throw it to bad credit names, and I hope, Chad, you're along for the rest of the ride. It's not too long now.
Oh man, I had 2 more questions. Can I throw them in? You guys
my
edit them
apologies.
in, or?
Yeah.
My apologies.
Go ahead,
Yeah, go for it.
No, I didn't know how many to do, so I got a couple.
Yeah.
All right. So this one is more movie related. It involves Lawrence Fishburne, who shows up as Bill Foster, former colleague and competitor of Hank Pym.
Yes.
In the comics, he's gone by a ton of names. He's been Goliath. He's been Giant Man. He's been Black Goliath. He's been Goliath with the hole blown through his chest by a Thor clone. He's shown up in a ton of different spots. Lawrence Fishburne, on the other hand, has shown up in a ton of different movie franchises. So I'm going to give you 7 movie franchises, and I want you to tell me which one does not contain Lawrence Fishburne. Okay? All right, so it's other than the MCU. We'll start off with the DC cinematic universe.
Wait, hold on. Can Bob is also obligated to answer this.
All right. Sounds good. So the first option is the DC cinematic universe. The second option is the Matrix movies. The third option is the Expendables. The fourth option, Mission Impossible. Option 5 is Fox's Fantastic Four. Didn't want to line those up. And the sixth option is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And the seventh and final option is John Wick. Which of those movie franchises has Lawrence Fishburne not appeared in?
Wow. The fact that he has in 6 of those.
I don't know.
Damn
any
it,
of them,
Rob.
but Mission Impossible does not feel right.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll go Fantastic Four then.
I know Expendables has
I was
Kelsey Grammer at
Expendables.
one point, but what?
I was also Expendables, but I'll go the Fantastic Four.
Okay, so in Fantastic Four, he was the voice of the Silver Surfer. In Fantastic Four 2, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Yes.
All right.
Bob, your choice was Mission Impossible. He appears in Mission Impossible 3 as some character in Mission Impossible 3.
Okay.
I didn't write that name down.
No wonder I forgot him.
The correct answer in the movie franchise he has not been in yet, although there's a new one coming out soon, so who knows? It is the Expendables. So he has not yet been.
God damn it, Rob! You don't get to go first in anything anymore.
That's too good.
Twice you robbed me. No wonder that's your name.
And I have one last question, and
Go
it's besides Stan Lee, which character appeared first in comic book form? Now, Stan Lee was born in 1922, but showed up in comics as early as 1941. But is it Kirk Douglas's Ant-Man? Is it Ghost's father, Egghead? Is it Lawrence Fishburne's Bill Foster? Or Randall Park's Jimmy Woo? Who showed up first in the comics?
Egghead.
Egghead did appear in 1962, but that doesn't beat Jimmy Woo, who predates the Marvel Universe.
No shit.
He was in the Atlas universe, and he first appeared in Yellow Claw #1 in 1956.
I should have known. I should have known, Chad.
Yellow Claw is a Fu Manchu ripoff. But Jimmy Woo went on to go into S.H.I.E.L.D. and then was reintroduced in the Marvel Universe proper. He went from FBI to S.H.I.E.L.D. in the Marvel Universe proper. And now is Randall Park.
Just so you know, Chad is holding up a notebook like he's reading this, but he actually just knows it off the top of his head.
He's just staring through the table at his feet.
That's right. I did write things down just to make sure I had the options.
Okay.
And on every toe a ring for the 10 rings on chest.
They turn them into bracelets. In Shang-Chi, if you haven't gotten there.
Not yet. Like I said, I gave up after the Infinity Wars. But maybe I'll get back in, Chad. And that is why we brought Chad along. He is the expert on all things comics, as he just demonstrated for you. Would you like me next week to come up with 5 questions, Rob, or should we limit Chad to 3?
I apologize. I get really excited.
Do
That was
great.
Do your what's
That
great.
was totally worth the guest shot.
Super good content. Let's throw it now to bad credit names.
I'm the freak. The Phantom Freak. The King of Ninex.
Bad credit names.
All right, wait. How about the Master of Disaster, huh?
You're hopeless, man. Utterly hopeless.
Ultra Laser. Dr. Doom. Orwell's here now. He's living large. We have no names, man. No names. We are nameless. Okay, score, Fry.
Okay, so what I would do here, Chad and audience at large, is I give you all of the names that I noticed in the credits, because I barrel through the credits every week, except for last, because I wasn't given any credits for an Elvis journey. And I tell you the names that I saw that are unfortunate to have, and maybe mean-spirited, but we decided to keep it in. But I will first say that Tim Burton was a producer on this movie. Did you know that?
Yes.
Don't believe it.
Yeah,
He couldn't get Danny Elfman on the score.
Right? He couldn't get Jamie Kennedy.
I think this is around the same time he made that horrible, unforgivable Planet of the Apes remake.
Ugh.
I was just going to say, I didn't see Helena Bonham Carter anywhere near this movie. There's no way it's a Tim Burton flick.
Yeah. She was best boy for this one.
Of course.
Or that around grips for Tim Burton himself. Igor Say, can't say which, but that's his name. Mara Leper Schloop.
Fun.
James Juckham.
Okay.
Juckham, I barely knew him.
Damn near killed
Take him out to dinner first. Alexis Payment.
Ew.
Payment.
Like It's like $1,200 a month.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Venmo. Mabel Plankett George.
Oh.
Brett Dix.
Okay.
I only put that one in the middle because, dick jokes only get you so far. Simon Clutterbuck. Phyllis Thurber.
His good friend Joey Cluster. No, I can't say that.
Yeah. No, feel free. Phyllis Thurber Moffat. I think we've had her on the pod before, but eating her curds and whey. Beat Frutiger.
Okay.
Scott Thumper Wells. Means he calls himself Thumper.
Yeah.
I got 2 more. Ashley Bunge. And Dieter Bush.
Ew.
Yes.
Did you? Yeah, I Dieter Bush.
That's a throwback to the elephant journey where they had to go through the bush.
Yeah.
Yes, or the brush.
Thumper just reminds me of over the top. Like, my friends call me Smasher.
Yeah, you hawk. I'm Smasher. All right, let's throw it to the offensive mini game.
The
Okay, this is a story about my mom and dad.
offensive
White and one was black, and I bet you think you're glad.
mini game.
My skin is very a tan.
That's happier than I usually hear, Bob. So, but then again, we are doing a worst movie podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so here are things that are offensive about the current season champion, pitted against things from this movie. We will decide what's the most offensive movie of the 2, Chad.
Okay.
And I'll explain them to you because I use shorthand. Starting with Forgetting Phoenix. In An Elephant's Journey, adults take this kid out on a fucking safari for his first day in Africa, and they don't check to see if he's back in the caravan when they drive back home, and he's lost out in the bush. Or Abraham interrupting intercourse, which in this movie is Abraham Lincoln interrupting his coach Henry while he's getting it in, so to speak, in the tub.
I'm gonna go with
elephant.
I'm gonna go with the cock blocking because Phoenix sucked, and no one cares that he got lost because he's an awful person.
I'm going for losing the kid. I'm voting for losing the kid over.
Okay, Chad, you're the tiebreaker.
All right. I've seen too many of these Home Alone movies where it's like, how do you not keep track of that kid?
Yeah.
So that's the one I'm going to go with.
That's your choice. Okay, forgetting Phoenix wins the first round. We always go to the bonus round, by the way.
Rob, you're winning too much this episode, so you have to lose once in a while. So
I'm in my element, dude.
Yeah, come on, Rob. Get out of here. All right, so child abuse in An Elephant Journey, where you see Uncle Jack slap Phoenix in the face, or child abuse. Take your pick.
I'm gonna go with child abuse on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, child abuse Lincoln because they hit him with a whip. That's worse.
They do.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. I agree with that one. The child abuse Lincoln.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, great.
That's unanimous, I think.
Okay, well, that brings us to the bonus round. Thankfully, 1-1. How about probable pedophilia? On the face of An Elephant's Journey, where Uncle Jack is talking about his 12-year-old neighbor girl, calling her cute and all this, or biting Lincoln's Willy. Where in the second movie, this is Abe, the movie we're talking about now, a woman who is a vampire bites Willy, Abraham Lincoln's child, to turn him into a vampire, but he just dies. So biting Lincoln's Willy, it's a deceiving headline. But take it as you will. What's worse?
I'm going to go with the pedophilia on this one for obvious reasons.
Okay.
Well, it is perceived pedophilia, and she actually does bite his Willy.
Oh.
So I'll leave it to Chad for this one.
Yeah, there are no good options here. Can I?
No. You cannot abstain. You are the tiebreaker. You are the rubber match.
Just lean into your mistake. It's fine. That's what I do.
Man, yeah. So Bob brings up a good point about it's just perceived, so we don't have proof of it. But
True.
Lincoln did lose his Willy.
He did lose his Willy, unfortunately, which is why he is so bitter.
Yes.
Okay, they took off the top hat, so to speak. All right, so Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter is the most offensive of the two. Now we will throw it to the movie comparison before we talk about what we'll do next week. We'll see what the worst movie is after our comparison. We'll plug Last Comic Shop one more time. Then we'll give it to Rob for his plug for ours, and we'll give it to Bob's last word after our bumper for the movie comparison.
Fight the real enemy. All right, let's do this.
Still don't quite understand that one.
It's Sinead O'Connor ripping up the picture of the Pope on SNL saying, fight the real enemy.
Oh, okay. Thank you for explaining that.
I thought you were a history buff, Chris.
No, apparently not. I didn't even know that Abe Lincoln fought vampires. So what kind of a history buff am I? An Elephant's Journey versus Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Worst of its kind, a test where we compare it to its competition according to streaming services. An Elephant's Journey was negative 43.4, and worst of its kind, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, a negative 30.4, and worst. That gives the victory over to An Elephant's Journey 1-0. Pitch, team 4.33. That is when we summarize a movie in limerick form. A team 4.33, but Chris takes the victory this week with a 4.5 for his voice work and amazing pitch, if I do say so myself. So a 1-1 as we go into offensive. We just established that is An Elephant's Journey. Dialogue, it's got to be An Elephant's Journey, right? It's worse than...
Worst dialogue? Yeah, absolutely.
Dialogue is worse than Elephant's Journey, yes.
Agreed. So how about... production? We have in An Elephant's Journey character development or lack thereof, or Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter taking itself too seriously. What's worse?
Vampire Hunter.
Elephant.
No.
Oh, Chad, you're the tiebreaker. Character development or lack thereof, or taking itself too seriously. What's worse for a movie?
I didn't see the elephant one, so I can't speak to that, but I do know how disappointed I was that Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter didn't have any Fourscore jokes. He didn't throw the top hat at any point.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
man, it was such a letdown. So taking it self too seriously.
Beautiful. Okay, 3-2, making this really interesting. Acting, what was worse than Elephant's Journey or Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, guys?
Elephant by a long
Elephant. I'm gonna go with elephant. Yes.
Agreed.
I'm sorry.
So demerits hardly matter because it's 4-2. Bad child actors was our demerit for An Elephant's Journey, and we don't really need to establish one because it loses anyway. So An Elephant's Journey is the worst of the season. Next week, Chad, check this out. If you haven't heard of Sniper Special Ops with Steven Seagal and Van Damme, then you're in for a treat because the Van Damme is Rob Van Dam, a wrestler, not Jean-Claude Van Damme. And it's like a 2016, farce with
straight to
with
Redbox,
Steven Seagal.
probably.
Yeah, and apparently it's one of the worst movies ever made, and I can't wait to do it. So that's what we're doing next week. I want to thank you, Chad Smith, for joining us. A shout out to the Last Comic Shop podcast. It was a lot of fun to have you. I can't wait to hear from you next week if you are willing to join us once more to ask Rob more questions about the comic universe at large.
That was great. Thank you guys so much for having me. It was tons of fun. I know when I was talking to Bob about how you guys are finally, or how you're going through the Marvel movies, I lit up because especially pre Endgame, like those movies are so much fun and it's a big, dumb, silly experience. So yeah, anytime you're willing to have me, I'd be happy to be back.
Okay, well, you've got another 13 episodes before we run out of Marvel content.
Yeah,
and that's if we decide not to continue, because by
and then straight on to the DCU.
No, God, no, Rob, don't do that to yourself.
I will say, did you see Blue Beetle?
No,
but I saw Flash.
Oh, all right. Flash was okay. Blue Beetle actually reminds me of the fun Marvel movies. It reminds me of an Ant-Man or an Iron Man.
So they finally had a hit because every movie thus far for the DCU that I've seen has been
the last
awful.
5 or 6 have.
I was gonna say
made.
I wouldn't call it a
made
hit.
the budget back. Yeah,
but it was a fun movie.
Okay, fair. Rob, why don't you plug us and send it over to Bob for his last word?
Well, first, Chad, are you at lastcomicshoppodcast.com? Is that your site?
That is our website, yes. And on the
plug
socials at Last Comic Shop Podcast.
I will plug the website on our write-up just so people could be made aware. I'm sure you guys have a bigger audience than we do, though. So, pissing in the wind, but, for good measure.
I never look at the numbers. Like for me, it's a comic book club. And my friends are, my one buddy's super into the podcasting side of the equation. Like I'm just happy to be there.
Cool.
It's my MO.
Yeah,
and then,
that's how we feel too. It's a passion project.
Yeah.
Yes. That will hopefully make us a lot of money one day. You can find us at www.theworstmovieevermade.com. Everything's there. Social, streaming, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. The email button where you can email us, which we actually have pretty good listenership. Like, for the amount of downloads we've gotten throughout the entire run of our show, I'm surprised we have not gotten a single email. Except for those couple. So we're just being salty about that. And that's all I got. Bob, what are your last words for the week?
Top hat.
I think that is the way to send it off. Nice job.
Right,
Thanks
guys.
again, Chad, for joining us. Check out the Last Comic Shop. Let's send it to our playout.
Oh, I should have said bloody honest. Oh well.
You didn't score on that.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody. See you next week.